Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulanding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gash, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gash Group also provides the best security company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Bertel Harding Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gash.
It's a warm reception to our studio here in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Sarah Kamara. In the headlines tonight, the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute graduates over 314 students. 16 non-commissioned police officers at anti-crime unit promoted. Wife killer's sentence maintained. On the international scene, Trump pardons 15, including convicted Blackwater guards. First batch of COVID-19 vaccines arrives in Latin America. South Africa mine expansion plan brings debt division to KwaZulu-Natal community. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. The Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute on Wednesday held a graduating ceremony at its school campus in Kanifing. The graduates had undergone a 6-month intensive training on professional cooking, pastry, food and beverage service, as well as rooms division. Modi Albaji reports.
In his welcoming remarks, the Director General of the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute, Dauda Nyang, cautioned the graduates to make good use of the knowledge gained during the course of their training. He added that the certificates they earn will serve as a key in unlocking job opportunities for them.
Ladies and gentlemen, graduation is not the end goal in itself. It is instead part of a larger journey of our lives. Wherever your future takes you, let it take you somewhere you can improve your life first. That is very important. And then you can also have a positive impact in the lives of people around you. The graduations will serve as a launching point, projecting us to wherever your future are meant to take us. Whether we land ourselves a job, we get employment, or whether we go and start our own business, or we choose to further our education.
Director Nyang sees the opportunity to recognize the efforts of the academic staffs. He acknowledged that they have been working tremendously just to make the program a successful one. However, over 178 of the graduates were sponsored by the Youth Empowerment Project, YEP, which the students were grateful of, as most of them are from poor family backgrounds. Maimuna Jallo delivered the vote of thanks on behalf of her fellow graduates.
With this course, most of us started to see opportunities and grabbing them. Initially, we thought we could not do anything about our lives, but in the aspect of food and beverage, professional cookery and pastry, we have a lot of opportunities. As I could see, most of my classmates are coming up with business plans. They are looking for funding to start their restaurants, to start their grill bars, and they are also starting pastry shops and running home kitchens, which they could earn money for themselves and help their families. I could remember DG said when we were here for the orientation, forget about the ngentes and the hells. Learn. When you're done, you will have money to give them when you go to the ngentes and hell. And hello, we have succeeded.
The technical advisor, monitoring and evaluation specialist of the Youth Empowerment Project, Modu Toure, revealed how they plan to support the graduates. He added that there is a 50,000 grant which is purposely meant for the youths, especially those who are certified on a particular skill.
Is to target skill areas that have high employment potentials, because we have done some gap analysis, skills gap analysis, to know that okay, the demands in the tourism and hospitality sector are in the sectors that we are training these youth on. So in the first place, there is a high potential for these youth to be employed. But in addition, as I said, we have grant programs in which we support young people to be able to establish their own businesses. They can apply for grants up to $50,000. They can buy equipment, tools to use in order to have their own small restaurants or whatever skill area they have been trained in. So this is the strategy we have. First, we target high employment potential areas, but secondly also support them in terms of access to finance in order to make self-employment easier for them.
The partnership between GTHI and the Youth Empowerment Project is geared towards mitigating the rate of unemployment and to provide requisite training to meet the human resources requirement of the tourism and hospitality sector. Among the graduates, 106 of them were trained on food and beverage services. Hundreds were trained on rooms division and 108 were trained on professional cookery and pastry. Meanwhile, the graduates are not only expected to be job seekers but rather to be job creators in order to reduce the unemployment rate in the country. For Star TV, I am Modu Elbaji.
The anti-crime unit on Wednesday held a decoration ceremony of 16 non-commissioned police officers to promote them to various ranks, namely first-class constable, corporal, and sub-inspector at their main headquarters in Bijilo. Awasane tells us more.
The promotion is an indication of the value placed on non-commissioned officers working in the Gambia Police Force. Speaking at the ceremony, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of OIC Gambia Secretariat, Ambassador Isa Bukarsi, said OIC Secretariat Gambia sees extra need in security. That's why they added their efforts on the first phase of training during the time of Gorge Lamin Boob and explained the meaning of anti-crime unit.
That is why they created anti-crime unit in 2018. You can play with the word. It says, or the words, they say anti-crime unit. You remove the anti, it will still be crime unit. If you remove the unit and the anti, it will be crime. So that's why anti-unit come to combat crime. Anti-crime unit is within a force, that is the Gambia Police Force. Therefore, it cannot be a standalone platform. Why do we say so? We have to ask ourselves questions and answer them to get a good speech. That means we cannot achieve our goals as a community in the absence of human intelligence and in the absence of community policing, where it is needed. It is needed as far as there is life, and we want to remain in stability. In this digital world, or this digital age, you cannot give a speech on security without recognizing the significance and the importance of AI, which is artificial intelligence, anticipatory intelligence, geointelligence, geolocation. All these must be combined to be able to support the dashboard of the vehicle, which is human intelligence.
Commander of ACU, Superintendent Mamadou Sow, acknowledged the importance of anti-crime unit and said the ACU is willing to partner with every good citizen who is ready to share any relevant information relating to crime within their vicinity. Everyone is going about their lawful businesses without any fear of being attacked, he said.
Promotions are done by force to recognize laudable efforts of deserving officers who have gone extra mile in providing diligent services to the citizenry and non-citizen alike. Our gathering today therefore symbolizes the great efforts of our men and women who have selflessly sacrificed their lives and efforts in making their marks in enabling the force to attain her primary functions of maintaining peace and security through protecting lives and properties. I therefore join the Anti-Crime Unit Command in celebrating the gallant efforts of these men and women without whose excellent efforts a vacuum would have been created in the normal execution of our functions.
Ibrahim Ba, Deputy Inspector General, also congratulated the newly appointed officers and encouraged them to continue doing the good job as well as fulfill the good expectations of people.
We will continue to give you the required support, assistance, and encouragement to facilitate your operations. The presence and the establishment of the anti-crime unit is very crucial in the general operations of the Gambia Police Force. Not only the Gambia Police Force, the whole country rely on anti-crime for protection. The name anti-crime has become a household name in all corners of the Gambia, not only in the GBA, the Greater Banjul. So you should be commended profoundly for your continued tolerance, diligence, and operations. I once again want to conclude by congratulating you once again for a well-deserved promotion. Like I said earlier, promotions are not decorations. Of course, you are decorated today with new ranks, but new engagements, new responsibilities will be given to you. And we hope and pray that you give it to your best.
Speaking on behalf of the decorated officers, one of them promised that they will work harder to make sure that the work is done as expected, but not disappoint the trust and confidence which the Office of the Inspector General have on them. She also thanked people who contributed immensely in her career. Well, congratulations to the decorated officers. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Awasane.
The Supreme Court of the Gambia, presided over by Chief Justice Hassan Jallow, has affirmed the judgments of the High Court and the Court of Appeal, noting that it has no reason to alter the sentence imposed on one Mamadou Oki Sissoko by the trial court and affirmed by the Court of Appeal. Yamuda Koka has more.
Mr. Sissoko was a 23-year-old native of Nyamena village in Upper River region and had been married to Jari Damba for 3 years. He was ordinarily residing in Spain, and during a visit to the country, he discovered his wife had conceived, and by the time she delivered a baby girl, he chanced upon rumors that he wasn't the father. On the 15th February 2014, he confronted Jari, and she confirmed that the child was not his. In a fit of rage, he stabbed her to death. He also stabbed himself, and when neighbors and relatives heard wails from inside the room, they broke the door and found a couple on the floor unconscious. In May 2014, he was charged with 1 count of murder as attempted suicide at the Basel High Court. Presiding Judge S.A. Abbey found him not guilty of murder and convicted him of manslaughter by reason of provocation, and also convicted him of attempting suicide. He was sentenced to 10 and 2 years of imprisonment with hard labor for manslaughter and attempting suicide. The sentences were to run concurrently, commencing on February 2014 when he was first arrested and detained by the police. The state, dissatisfied with the conviction of sentence for manslaughter, appealed to the Gambia Court of Appeal, which was dismissed in June 2018, and the decision of the High Court affirmed. Dissatisfied with the Court of Appeal's decision, the Attorney General appealed to the Supreme Court, stating that the judgment of the Court of Appeal was unreasonable, unwarranted, and cannot be sustained having regard to the nature of the case, the evidence led by the prosecution. The Attorney General also stated that the Court of Appeal failed to consider the nature of the gravity of the offense committed by Mr. Sissoko. The Attorney General then sought an order of the Supreme Court to set aside the conviction and sentence of manslaughter, allowed the appeal, and sought for an order of a conviction and sentence for murder as prescribed by Section 187 of the Criminal Code. Alternatively, to convict and sentence him for manslaughter as prescribed by Section 189 of the Criminal Code. The Supreme Court, in its judgment, disclosed that it agreed with both the High Court and the Court of Appeal decision that Mr. Sissoko is entitled to the defense of provocation, and the conditions set out in the Criminal Code were satisfied. The Supreme Court also disclosed that both courts below properly directed themselves on the law and evaluated the evidence properly and drew the correct inference from the proven facts. The Supreme Court stated that imprisonment for life is not mandatory penalty for manslaughter, noting that the court has the discretion in imposing a lesser sentence. The Supreme Court pointed out that it was satisfied with the High Court's decision and affirmed by the Court of Appeal. The Supreme Court therefore affirmed the judgments of the High Court and the Court of Appeal and accordingly dismissed the Attorney General's appeal. For Star TV News, I am Yamundo Kuka.
Those were the local stories. We'll be back with the international news after the short break.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jeja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulunding. We are also producers of Jeja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company, Gosh Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gosh Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gosh on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gosh Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.goshglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh.
And now, beyond our borders. U.S. President Donald Trump has pardoned 15 people, including 4 military contractors, convicted of shooting dead 14 civilians in Iraq in 2007. The men work for the private security firm formerly known as Blackwater and were serving long prison sentences. The incident caused international outrage, and the pardons have left many Iraqis angered. Al Jazeera's Charles Strafford reports from Baghdad, where he spoke to a man injured in the attack.
Abdulhamir Rahim was shot by an American contractor on what has been described as one of the darkest days of US involvement in Iraq.
I was on a bus when the shooting started. Heavy fire came towards us. I felt the first bullet hit my leg as I scrambled off. I kept running towards the bus station, then I got hit again. When I stopped, I was hit a third time. I felt like the bones in my leg had exploded. I fell down and started to crawl. There was utter chaos. People were terrified, trying to save themselves.
This video was filmed after the attack. 14 Iraqis, including 2 children, were killed and at least 20 others injured when a heavily armed convoy of contractors with the American security company Blackwater opened fire at a busy intersection in the capital, Baghdad. The company, set up by a former US Navy SEAL in the late 1990s, sent hundreds of former soldiers to Iraq in the aftermath of the 2003 US-led invasion. Blackwater was paid hundreds of millions of dollars by the US State Department to protect visiting dignitaries. The company said its men started shooting during the 2007 incident in Baghdad in self-defense. But that was eventually proven not to be the case in a US court of law.
For years, many Iraqis saw the events that unfolded here on Nisr Square on September the 16th, 2007 as an example of how America thought that it could do what it wanted in Iraq and never be called to account. So they were relieved in 2014 when a US federal court sentenced 4 Blackwater employees to lengthy jail terms, including 1 life sentence. The pardoning of those 4 men by President Trump, for the victims at least, means that justice has still not been done.
Baghdad-based lawyer Hassan Jaber and his son suffered multiple gunshot wounds as they crouched in their car. Both miraculously survived.
When I heard about Trump's decision, I was shocked and disappointed. We are the victims and those men are the murderers. I thought the U.S. justice system was independent, but it seems justice is affected by U.S. politics. Trump's decision is another example of his failures in his policy towards Arabs and the Middle East.
Abdulhamir Rahim shares those thoughts. He flicks through old pictures of himself in hospital after operations to save his leg.
Those men that shot me don't represent America. Trump doesn't represent all American people either. He represents and acts for himself.
One Iraqi's assessment of the US and its leadership from a man whose life was changed forever 13 years ago. Charles Strafford, Al Jazeera, Baghdad.
Mexico has just received its first shipment of the COVID-19 vaccine, the first country in Latin America to have a vaccine ready to roll out, but the country which has the fourth highest number of deaths in the world due to the coronavirus and its hospital risks being overwhelmed with COVID-19 patients. Al Jazeera's John Holman reports from Mexico City, Mexico.
It's what everyone in Mexico wants for Christmas, the COVID vaccine, and the one from Pfizer has now finally arrived.
As the phrase goes, good things arrive in small quantities. We have the privilege today of being one of the first countries in the world with a vaccine supply to be handed out next year. And Mexico is the first country in Latin America to get the vaccine.
But for many people it won't be available till the middle of next year, and meanwhile the country's in big trouble. Mexico City's hospitals are all but full, with very few ventilators left. There are queues outside shops selling oxygen tanks. Monica Avala's travelled from another city, desperate to get one. Like many people, she's taken care of an infected relative at home.
We've come from Toluca. There's no oxygen there. We went to 2 places, but they didn't have any till tomorrow. And I need it for today, because my patient, my dad, can't go without oxygen.
Mexico never really got COVID cases down after the first wave, and now there's more than ever. The crowds in Mexico City Centre throughout December haven't helped. The government's just reluctantly declared a red alert for the capital and its suburbs, closing non-essential businesses. But a lot of people think that authorities declared the alert for the capital much too late. There's been questions over their attitude towards a pandemic from the beginning. The Mexican president and the COVID czar rarely wear masks, and they've been accused repeatedly of not imposing timely and strict enough lockdowns. But the government has a powerful counter-argument. Mexico has more than 60 million poor people. Stopping them from working could leave them destitute, especially since federal authorities haven't rolled out a comprehensive financial plan to help them. Maria Garcia's selling face masks in the street. She says there's no way she could stay home.
Of course not. I'd be ashamed to hold out my hand and say, help me. That's why I'm here. I get $7 a day, even if it's just to buy tortillas.
Instead, the government's opted to try and make sure that when people do get sick, there's always a bed for them. Now, for the first time, it looks like that strategy could fail. Although there were no queues waiting outside of the 6 hospitals that our team visited in Mexico City this week, all of which were full, health experts say that could change this January. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.
A small village in rural South Africa is caught up in a dispute over a controversial expansion plan of Somkhele, one of South Africa's largest open coal mines in KwaZulu-Natal province. The expansion plan is dividing friends and neighbors and pitting businesses against tradition and the environment. Now tension has been heightened by the killing of Fikile Natsangesi, a 65-year-old environmental activist who was killed in front of her grandson outside her house in October. Natsangesi was at the forefront of a challenge against the expansion of the Somkhele mine. Al Jazeera's Hara Mutase reports from Puknyoni in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province.
No one has lived in this house since Fikile Changase was murdered in October. The 65-year-old environmental activist had opposed the expansion of one of South Africa's largest open coal mines in KwaZulu-Natal province. Her grandson told the police 2 men came to the gate at night and asked for water to drink.
One of the guys asked, where are the dogs? And he said, no, the dogs are there. He said, can you guys hold the dogs for us? So as the boys were holding the dogs, the guys, 2 guys or whatever guys, they came in and then they had the shot. And then he said, we heard another shot, and then we realized that it's the guns. Then they ran away to the next door.
Some of those in favor of the mine's expansion have condemned the killing, saying they and the mine owners had nothing to do with it.
To me, it was merely a work of hooligans, who must be arrested. Criminal act. Those people must just be arrested and rot in jail and let the law take its course. Because it's not going to help us to try that case in the public domain.
Officials at the Somkhele coal mine say it's struggling and on the verge of closing down. That's why it needs to find new ground to keep operating. They say if they don't, they will have to fire some workers. This is where the coal mine plans to expand to. It's about 5 kilometers from the original location. Most families have accepted a compensation deal and agreed to be relocated, but some are adamant they're not going anywhere. Some families live very close to where the mine is operating and have been here for generations. It's where their ancestors are buried. Activists blame the mine for damaging the environment and people's homes and livelihoods. And some people say they should be compensated with amounts they believe reflect the value of the mine to its owners.
It's only way we can stop the mining. That's why we're telling them about the millions and billions they have to pay. Because we know they're doing billions and trillions, but they never gave any 1 billion to the community.
There are claims and counterclaims about why Fikile Changase was killed and who did it. Until there are answers, mine officials say they'll push on with expansion plans, and those refusing to move say they'll carry on doing everything they can to stop that from happening. Harumutasa, Al Jazeera, Mpukunyoni, South Africa.
And before we end the news, a recap of our main headline. The Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute graduates over 314 students. 16 non-commissioned police officers at anti-crime unit promoted. Wife killer's sentence maintained. On the international scene, Trump pardons 15, including convicted Blackwater guards. First batch of COVID-19 vaccines arrives in Latin America. South Africa mine expansion plan brings debt division to KwaZulu-Natal community. That's all for this edition of the news. Do join us tomorrow for more news, and please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Thank you.